Inte believe me this. It's super. It's good car immediately. Okay, let's see. Let's see what dude did. So he's in California. Okay, we go to the beginning of this video. Let's see what he did. Okay.
This is me 3 months ago on my way to bid on a crashed Lamborghini located on the other side of the country. I wore a suit out of respect for its Italian heritage.
Forget about it.
Up until this point, I've done weeks of research. I've dug up police records from when this car had crashed, digitally traced the exact roads where it swerved off into a ditch. I'm 3 hours early to make sure I don't miss it.
Bro. You're getting evicted, bro.
You didn't dress up for the Lambo auction?
Bro, I didn't know this.
A few friends sit down for moral support, and the auction begins at $51,000.
We're in. Okay, 52.
Already in the reddish.
53.
I'll cut the drama. I get outbid by some guy in Utah. However, I come to find the car did not hit the seller's reserve. It's been a week and the car is about to go live on auction once again in 14 minutes. I think we can make the numbers work at 62.5. Oh man, this is a pretty huge gamble. It's also in Maine. If we win, how am I even gonna get it home? Now, I actually didn't have to worry about that because this mystery Utah man outbid me once again.
Sold on approval.
Young hustler, you ready for that Lamborghini Gallardo? You ready for that?
I think it's been like 2-3 months since we've last spoken. Truth be told, I kind of gave up on this Lambo idea and moved on. But today, on March 18th, I just randomly went on Copart and found this Lamborghini Gallardo in Sacramento, which is like 30 minutes away from me. I didn't have time to study the damage or the history of the car, but given that it was an earlier model, I figured I shouldn't go over 42,000. The auction started hot, but with no mystery Utah bidder. Oh man, guys, I literally just found this listing like 30 minutes ago, and now we're on the hook for $40,000. But we got a Lambo.
I knew he was Russian.
From here, I drove straight to the bank to pay for the car. The following day, I had to go get cleaned up out of respect for the Copart establishment, but then clear out the garage, street park the hypercar, fire sell the jet ski. With some space cleared up, I sped over to my local Copart lot
just in time to
see the car get loaded up onto the trailer. This thing does not look like a 2005 Gallardo. It's either some sort of special edition one or any one of the previous like 10 owners put on some sort of aftermarket body kit, but it looks sick.
And it started.
Crazy.
I couldn't believe my eyes. Seeing this thing in my garage, it didn't feel real. It was like a glitch.
Oh, that's crazy, bro.
There's
I don't even care that car was in the red. Just owning that mug, just having that mug.
It sounds
crazy.
insane.
The craziest part is that he paid the same amount for a Lambo that you pay for your car.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Just seeing this shit is crazy. But he had cash.
He did.
That's even a big flex. That's a flex.
The fact
you can't get past that.
The fact that he got.
But if we can start, we gotta start with something less. That's it. Start with something less and work our way up to something like that. That's all you gotta do, bro.
It's the flip.
You was doing that shit, bro, with the Subaru.
You're right. You're right. That was gonna be the play, and I watched Dane do this with computers 1,000 times over. Dane will start off a computer at the beginning of the month. He would have a computer. He would sell it. He would turn this one computer I got right here into 2 computers, maybe even 3 computers, right? And then he would sell those 3 computers, and he would turn the 3 into 5 or 6, and then he would turn the 5 or 6 into 10. He would turn the 10 into 15, and he would just keep on. And what he would do is he would keep on. Because when one person writes you about a computer, bro, it's 8 other people who writing you about the same computer, and they all willing to spend that money, right? And he would sell all of them, bro. And then by the end of the month, he would have started that month with $2,000. In that month with 30,000 plus a bunch of computers. Plus he still got computers. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then he just keep going. He keep going. And he end up at 60,000. And then he go fuck it all up on some shit.
Yeah, I know.
Like, whoa, then he started again, bro. Crazy. Okay. Let's see.
You gotta play it smart and just be
It felt like an earthquake. I was itching to see if the car actually ran and drove, but was
Oh,
really
yeah,
concerned
it's
about
the
the
third
noise
man.
complaint.
I'm putting it back in. Really?
I was too scared to get it past second gear, but it seemed to at least somewhat function until...
Things to avoid. Reversing up a hill is gonna kill you.
But apart from that, this thing appears to run and drive just fine.
DCTs.
Y'all
Dual
should
clutch
have never
transmission.
let me have access to Copart. Now, my theory is that the reason this car may have been written off as totaled and sent to auction could be because of this left quarter panel right here. If this R and R stands for remove and replace, replacing this entire quarter panel up to insurance standards would likely be an insanely expensive job. But I think all that's really wrong with it
and the
is
bumper?
this part right here.
No, they
There's
gotta
also
charge hell
stuff like
for it.
this heat shield. I don't think we need to replace the entire thing. Instead, we can just go like this.
Bro, I didn't see people modify those where they I seen people modify them where they cut the heat shield out so you could see how crazy the exhaust is, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you would cut the heat shield out and wrap the turbo in the turbo blanket.
bro, I
And
seen
the piping, yeah, you'll wrap around the piping as well, yeah.
I
With
seen
the heat, like the dude with the RSX, I mean the RS, the Acura had.
yeah, bro, I
The
seen
DEI,
that.
the
Yeah.
DEI wrapping.
Man, those look so fucking sexy. I saw that, I was like, damn.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see.
I'm against it, and I'm against it because
Because what?
the bad thing about DEI, if your car sit outside and it rains, those things normally hold moisture. So when you have turbo blankets and things like that, it rusts that iron out faster.
Oh, so it has to be garage kept.
Well, it don't necessarily have to be garage kept. A lot of people like to do a coating,
Oh, okay.
a thermal coating. Yeah,
it won't rust.
yeah,
Thermal coating.
yeah. It'll reduce the temperature without having to wrap it, and you ain't got to deal with the corrosion, holding water, and all that shit, and catching on fire.
Ew, catch on fire. Hey, bro, start taking parts off of it. See what he's
Already, anything that's marked green, you taking.
doing. Look at this man. Let's see what he's doing.
There was a few parts in the passenger seat, so I took those out. Some of these were solid and would actually save us a decent amount of money. But once I had inventory of that, I kind of just played spot the difference between this car and what a non-crashed one looks like, taking note of what parts I'll have to buy and what's worth trying to have fixed. From there, my work moved inside to research the damaged components and start ordering new parts. So far, I think we're into this car at a pretty good price, but this is when things can really go south. The next few days were filled with shrewd negotiations and a ton of lowballing on eBay. We'll break down all of the costs at the end, but I was actually able to source a few of the parts locally, and through that, I ended up meeting someone who actually knew the previous owner of the car. So a few phone calls later,
I'm here with Gopi, the previous owner of the Lamborghini. It ran and drove completely fine before the accident.
Yeah, ran perfect. You didn't get burned or anything like that.
Gopi ended up selling me the stock exhaust, catalytic converters, the original rear wing, a second key for the car,
He took
and
all the shit off.
original wheels with tires. As cool as the aftermarket exhaust was, I needed the factory parts on in order to pass smog and actually register the car.
California, bro, is a motherfucker. He should have took this bitch to Atlanta.
I was actually able to find most of the parts I needed fairly easily, but there was one vacuum line that I needed in order to put on the stock exhaust that I couldn't find anywhere. I'm gonna come clean. I was about to do something
I'm gonna
a
order you
little
some
sus,
tubing
a
from
little
Amazon.
questionable in order to keep our costs down. I was gonna try to just
cut it to
straighten
length.
out and weld this impact bar that got bent in during
Oh,
the
you know how
crash.
to do shit?
However, I ended up deciding to just splash a little and buy a non-damaged impact bar. And in doing so, I was just deeply rewarded for my brief splurge of integrity. I just found this impact bar, and what do you know? It has the exact exhaust vacuum line that I couldn't find anywhere else connected to the bar. double bubble. While I waited for that to come in, I noticed the car had a flat, so I went out, got it patched up, slapped it back on. I got a deal on this replacement bumper, but it was cracked, and so was this top panel, so I dropped both off with a plastic repair specialist who also agreed to fabricate the rest of this interior bracket that notoriously fails on these cars. Meanwhile, I dug into the interior. The door panels had this weird green mold, which got me worried about flood damage, but it wiped off pretty easily. I disinfected the whole area. Honestly, not sure what that was. Next problem, no stereo and an absolute wiring jungle left over from an aftermarket subwoofer. I had to take some major risk pulling wires out, hoping I didn't kill anything.
I don't know why he did that. I would
Radio,
probably
I
just
picked up
took it
this
to a place,
OEM
you
unit
know what I
with a
mean?
screen and somehow got it to turn on, only to be greeted with this anti-theft system asking for a code. I genuinely thought we were cooked, but this random eBay listing claimed they could crack it with just the serial number, so I gave it a go. I still can't believe that worked.
This is Pod 5,
That's crazy.
the first
Right? Put some
fully immersive
ugly
sync
ass
system.
displays in the new car. I mean, them,
Old levels.
The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
But with that done, I turned to the battery. Up until now, I had to jumpstart the car pretty much every time. So I took the battery to Napa. It turns out it was still under warranty, so they just handed me a brand new one for free. I swapped it in, performed a deep clean, and somewhat restoration.
That's what I was trying to do with the
front,
Beamer.
Good deal. That worked out nice.
Yeah.
Now by this point, enough parts had come in the mail and my dad was available, so it was time
For the exhaust job, as well as the original cat.
We got a base reading of 111 decibels and got to work. Taking this heat shield off revealed the exhaust. This thing looked sick, but
Sexy.
unfortunately it had to go. Then came the sensor.
Hey, you know what? He's probably gonna make like 5K back off the fucking exhaust or something crazy.
yeah, I can see that. Like,
Yeah,
whatever
really?
you're taking off, you could just still.
Yeah, exactly, right? Sell it and make the money back.
Out of the cats, and we had to lift the car and take off the wheels in order to unscrew the cats themselves. But with those out, we put in the original ones, followed by the actual mufflers, which allowed us to start the car and get a new California compliant reading of around 88 decibels. But anyway, I finished the job by putting on these new wheel well covers I had to buy, then the wheels, and I popped on these two undamaged impact bars. Then, in an attempt to just feel something, I removed the carbon wing and took a gamble, dropping it off with a Facebook Marketplace carbon repair listing. We'll see how that goes, but taillights were next up. One was completely chopped, but I poured my heart into restoring the other, and it actually turned out pretty great. That is, until I saw it next to the new one I bought. Turns out these taillights come in different shades.
If you step pretty far back and you don't turn on the lights, it actually doesn't look that bad.
I ended up paying up for one of the same shade off eBay.
Like, look, this is what he did. Look at this.
Back and you don't turn on the lights, it actually doesn't look that bad.
I ended up paying up for one of the same shade off eBay. Taillight restoration
1350.
mission
Why,
failed,
bro?
but we move on.
Just 10 and both.
The wobbly side
You're good.
mirror, which I pulled off and dropped off for paint matching. Then picked up the completed bumpers from the plastic repairman. His plan for this mounting bracket actually worked out pretty nice. And once the paint was cooked up, I had the car towed to the paint shop. But the wobbly mirror came home with me, and I could instantly see the issue. Now listen, I don't know if this next part is up to code, maybe look away, but I just mixed together some JB Weld and applied it inside all the cracks.
I
Say
don't
whatever you
understand
want,
these
man. I
dudes.
no
They be
longer
doing
have
shit
a
like
wobbly
that,
side mirror.
but then
while I was
they'll sit there and
dilly-dallying,
spend
that
like
quarter panel
13,
I made a
1400
big
on
deal about earlier was
On a fucking tail
Weld.
light. Yeah,
No clue
that's
how
a
they
different
really did
tint.
it, but
Stupid.
You know what I'm saying?
super nice.
Unless he sold the other one for 13 back.
Call that
Then
all
that
the
makes
parts
sense.
have been
I
successfully
just had a vinyl
painted,
pad
and
and
the
just
fellas have
change
agreed
that
to help
shit.
me put the parts on at their shop. So if we're able to put it together today, I'll be attempting to drive it home tonight.
And once at the shop, freak welded mirror, door panel, tail light, top bumper piece. Time for the big boy. I spent like a couple hours screwing it in from all kinds of different angles, eventually finishing with these grid trim pieces. Engine bay cover, name tag. We left the spoiler off since its lift system was jammed, but this thing was looking nice. Now driving home was stressful.
That motherfucker, bro.
Low gas, check engine light, mystery dash warning, no registration, no license plate, just vibes. Although a terrifying experience, I did make it home in one piece. However, we still had work to do. I removed this crusty cover, figured out the mystery dash light was for the active spoiler, so I did a delete on the entire system and used the plug trick I found online to kill the error code. Then reinstalled the stock spoiler without the lift system. Why not the sick carbon fiber one? Because this is how I got it back. Now I did clear the check engine code with—
Wait, what?
Motherfucker still would have been going on. Did you just check with a carbon repair? He just said he hit it. Oh, he did. That's probably where he took it.
Yeah.
Carbon fiber repair.
Because this is how I got—
fucked him over. I don't care what Lambo you get. What year?
This thing
model?
is
It's a Lambo, and that's all that matters.
And so the time has finally come to break down the cost. But while you guys were looking away, in an effort to lower our total cost, I did manage to sell the exhaust for $500 on Marketplace.
500? What's wrong with you?
And
that's it.
the trouble of listing the old taillights on eBay, they did sell, so we got back at
130.
I also bought a front emblem that has—
Bro spent all money on parts and then turns around and sell them for 1/10 of the price.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. They got the audacity to flex on some kicks.
Come in yet.
Like you made it come
if I
up.
want to keep the car and be able to
Bro,
put a ton
pause
of
for
miles
1
on
second.
it worry-free, I would have to spend a good amount of money on preventative maintenance. The clutch will eventually have to get replaced, so I don't want to make it seem like the car is perfect. So that disclaimer aside, the current price comes out to just over $57,000, and I